88 coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on Spirit Beast, one of the archetypes coming out of the Secret Forces. So let's go ahead and get into this. So first, let's go ahead and start with the monsters. First up, we are running 3 copies of Old Man Kamui. So Old Man Kamui gives you an extra normal summon. He is the ideal Ritual Beast monster you want to start with, so you can get your Contact Fusion play started. Second, we run 2 copies of Wen. Wen special summons Ritual Beast from the removed from play zone. And then we have 2 copies of Laura, who special summons your Spiritual Beast monsters from the graveyard. So I only run 2 copies of these guys because unless they have some kind of setup initially, they can be kind of dead in hand. I think it's easier to E-Telly straight into them. So let's move on into the Ritual Beast aspect, or the Spiritual Beast aspect, where we run 3 copies of Canahawk. This is your Gold Star, primary means of loading up your banished zone. So we run them at 3, like in the best. Next up, we have 3 copies of Apelio, or Ape Leo, because he has both the strength of an ape and a lion. He is the beater, that's why we run him at 3. He also has a nifty little damage cal control effect where you can take something from the graveyard, one of your Ritual Beast cards from the graveyard, put it back in your banished zone. It's really great for setting up multi Canahawk as well, or just using that deck over and over again. And then next up we have Heddlefin. Heddlefin is spot removal. You banish 1 Ritual Beast or Spiritual Beast card from your hand in order to target a card on your opponent's side of the field. So once again, good spot removal. And then we have 1 copy of Rangpengu. For those of you who don't know, this is actually the little penguin that Kalika is always carrying around. It's all grown up now. So, once per turn, what you can do with this guy is you banish a Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck of a certain type, and then you send from your deck to the graveyard a Ritual Beast monster of the same type. So let's say I banish Ulti Canahawk, I send Canahawk from my deck to the graveyard. So it's good setting up for your Lar plays. You'll need to run 1, because once you use its effect once, that's all you really need to do. You don't want to be just, willy-nilly banishing your fusions, because you can't special summon them any other way except via their Contact Fusion. And then the last monster, we have 1 copy of Necrophase. I really love this card. It's a fun card because it combos really well with Gold Sark, allowing you to banish 5 cards off the top of your deck. I mean, it's cool it banishes your opponents, but it's really just for you to banish stuff off the top of your deck, setting up for your Wen plays or for multiple tag-ins, tag-outs, stuff like that. And then you can also summon this and just use it to beat it when you need to, because it gains 100 attack points for every remove from play monster that was shuffled back into the deck by this effect whenever it's summoned. And that does it for all of the monsters. Sorry, I'm a little sick, just getting over a cold. Alright, next up we have spells. So we run 3 copies of Lance. This is a deck that doesn't get anything done without its normal summon. You always want your summon going off so you can get your effects and go for your fusion plays. So 3 copies of this. 2 copies of Emergency Teleport. Kind of like I said before, Wen and Lara, they really don't do much unless they have prior setup. So it's much easier just to E-Telly into them if you already have a Ritual Beast in your hand or something like that. I think it's much better than running all of them at 3. Because then you have a bunch of the ones that you can use. Then we have MST for back row purposes, 1 Gold Sarcophagus so we can banish any Ritual Beast, or so we can banish Necrophase to banish the top 5. And then we have 1 Foolish Burial to set up our Lar plays, and then 1 copy of Book of Moon. Alright, moving up into the traps. This is probably the trap-heaviest deck I actually play. We have 2 copies of Ritual Beast Canvas. So what this card lets you do at any point in time, but usually you do it during the end phase, is you target 1 Ritual Beast and 1 Ritual Beast Tamer monster that is either banished or in your graveyard, and you special summon them back in defense mode. And that's it, plain and simple. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. And yeah, it's really great at helping you storm the field. It's chainable. So, great stuff. Next up, we run the Broken Trap, 2 copies of Ritual Beast Steed. I only run 2. I know a lot of decks that run 3. But if you control a Ritual Beast monster, you flip this, you destroy your opponent's monsters up to the number of Ritual Beast cards that you have on the field. It does not target, and that's what makes it awesome. Next up, we run 2 copies of Spiritual Wind Art Miyabi. Really cool. You tribute 1 of your wind monsters and target 1 card on your opponent's side of the field, put it back at the bottom of the deck. So it's really good at getting rid of things that have effects whenever they get, destroyed by card effects, or just sent to the graveyard in some way, shape, or form. You just spin it back to the bottom of the deck. Next up, we have 2 Breakthrough Skills, 2 copies of Vanity's Emptiness, You might be thinking in a deck that does a bunch of special summoning, why run Entity Emptiness? It's actually pretty good when you actually have the field to back it up, because this is a deck that where I run a decent amount of traps, and then Apelio gives me extra damage cow control, and then with the fusions. It's a great card to sit on, especially, you know, Necros being a thing. You'll come to appreciate this card very much, even if it kind of hinders you in some way. And then we have the summoning turns of Solemn and Bottomless, and then, of course, because it's a remove from play deck, we run one copy of the Necrocosmos. It's kind of a duh. It really gives the deck a leg up on the competition. And that does it for the main deck. Moving into the extra deck. First off, we're running 2 copies of Ritual Beast Apelio. You'll see a lot of builds nowadays running air and wear from 2 to 3. It's perfectly fine. So, all the fusions are contact fusions, and one little neat thing about these guys is they can all spell speed 2 tag out, which means they can dodge things like Bottomless, they can dodge things like Target, all kinds of neat stuff. So this guy's individual effect is that whenever he attacks, he becomes a Star Eater. He becomes immune to all of the card effects until the end of the battle phase. He's your primary beer that you go into really, really great. Next up, we have our Searcher in the form of 3 copies of Ulti Cannahawk. The main reason why I actually run 3 is just for Rampangu. I'll banish this, and then I'll banish a copy of Cannahawk, and I'll still have 2 left over just in case one dies, and so on and so forth. So one good thing to actually note about all the Ritual Beast monsters is none of their effects are actually once per turn. But you can only special summon the ones from the main deck only once per turn. So you really have to keep track of which ones you banish and special summon, but you can activate any of their effects as much as you want to, so it's so great. Anyway, so Searcher. Next up, we have Ulti Petalfin. He cannot be destroyed by card effects. He has 2800 defense, which is really, really nice. Moving into Exceed, we have 1 copy of the highly overpriced Lightning Chidori, but is still very good. 1 copy of Cowboy, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Castell, 1 101, and then moving into Rank 3s, we have 1 Nightmare Shark, and then 1 Leviathan Sea Dragon. I'm probably going to take this out just because you can only special summon the Ritual Beast monsters once per turn, which means you have to be you kind of have to think about whether you really want to use this effect or not. But, I mean, if you guys have any other suggestions, then, you know, leave them in the comments and let me know. Also, this is only a 14-card extra deck, so I also might need a suggestion for a 15-card. Anyway, guys, so that is the entire deck. Let me know what you guys think, and I will be back at you later with future videos. This is Parker Lad, out.